Hello, a warm welcome to the maudifi channel from me, Scott. On this video talking about power supplies for phono stages. Specifically, the phono stages we're talking about are maudifi's own phono 756, but also the Cambridge Audio Azur phono stage range. Here's a 540p for example, alongside various other products. I'm seeking your input on something, and I'll have a question for you later in this video, but let me explain where I'm coming from first. It's well established in the high-end audio world that a good quality, robust power supply makes the world of difference to sound quality. Cheap generic wall warts like this get the job done but are limiting. Depending on the equipment they're powering, they can nearly always be bettered by a custom solution. In the case of the phono stages I've already mentioned, something like the Cambridge Audio DacMagic or even the musical Fidelity X series. They take a 12 volt AC or alternating current supply, whereas most aftermarket power supplies are DC, direct current. Talking about the DacMagic, I've tried this very power supply with a DacMagic that was in for modification, and it added an extra sense of body and a more natural presence to the music. Why am I making this video today? Well, recently I had a question come in from someone in Singapore in two parts. A, about using the phono 756 phono stage as a replacement for a Cambridge Audio 651p. But also B, what is a suitable good quality replacement for the wall wart? His Cambridge power supply had been fried. Now, I've previously been asked about which power supply I recommend for these phono stages, and I've recommended building your own. But that's not for everyone, and you won't necessarily end up with something that also looks good. Now, I have designed a maudifi AC power supply to accompany the phono, which will also power all of the other phono stages I've mentioned. Here it is, it's this box here. I can bring that in closer. Let's see. Give that a spin around. I'll include some stills of this as well so you get a better idea. For the moment, it's snappily called the PSU-AC12-2500. Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? AC12 because it supplies 12 volts AC from a rather nice audio-grade toroidal transformer, and 2500 because the current drive behind that can be up to 2.5 amps or 2500 milliamps. Now, I've taken the time to source what I feel is a rather nice enclosure made of extruded aluminium, 3mm thick, painted black. It's simple, but I think more elegant than many aftermarket solutions out there. Why go to the bother? Well, we invest a lot in our audio equipment, and I feel it should look the part as well as sound good. On the back we have a standard IEC inlet, so you can use your own favourite power cable to get the most out of it, if you believe in that sort of thing, of course. Don't tell anyone, but I do. Shh. Actually, I don't think it's a matter of believing, as some would say. Just listen to a well set up system and compare against basic cables. If you can hear the difference between DACs, amplifiers or whatever, you'll hear the difference a good quality cable will make. It's pretty straightforward. Anyway, enough of that. Where were we? Okay, yes, the back panel. The only other thing there is the 12 volts AC output, which is on a GX16 connector, and that's for connection to a phono stage, DAC, or whatever else. It would be supplied with a connecting cable. I had hoped to supply an off-the-shelf ready-made cable like this. It's okay, it does the job, but I then made up this one using a shielded silver-plated copper cable. and there was quite the improvement. Now we start to get towards my problem and my ask of you. I want to produce really good kit, and I want to make it as affordable as I can. I think I've shown that with the upgrades and now maudifi products, starting with the phono. But what might be seen as competitors to this power supply are, well, they're cheaper than I can produce it for. I think the quality of those is not at the same level, and to me they don't look like they belong in a quality hi-fi system. They look more like bench test equipment style devices. Now, if I could sell enough of these, I can negotiate on supply pricing, but I need to get a better idea of how many people would actually buy this. I can't afford to have a big pile of these sitting around, left unsold. I think I'd have to sell them for probably between £280 to £300. The closest competitor that I know of is around £200, but there are others available for less than that. If you searched on AliExpress, for example, I'm sure you'd find something. Those would likely offer a bit of an improvement over the dreaded wall wart, but as far as I can make out, they use standard components rather than audio grade ones, so couldn't go the whole hog. So the question, is it worth my while producing this? Would enough of you buy one? Given that there must be a market for the other power supplies for them still to exist, and a phono replacement board will make a much, much bigger difference than one of those, then maybe there is. I just don't know. One question you might have is, what order do you do the upgrade? Which first, the power supply or the phono? I'd say the main phono stage first, then the transformer. The biggest improvements come from the design of the phono circuitry itself. The lower noise and overkill grunt of the power supply is the cherry on top. So the question, would you consider a power supply at this price for your phono stage? I'll put a link to a survey below. If you'd be kind enough to answer that question, I'd really appreciate it. You can comment below too, of course, but it would really help if you'd use the link, as that will make sure I don't accidentally miss any of your responses. Thanks for your help as ever, and thank you very much for watching today. Talking of help, your likes and subscriptions mean a lot to me, but also help me get the word out on my take on affordable high-end audio. And for what it's worth, help me to continue what I'm doing here. If you have any questions, you can ask below, or make contact through the maudifi website. That includes for any special requests on the phono or for upgrades on any other piece of hi-fi. I think that's it, so keep safe and you'll see me next time.